My name is Yang. 我的名字是陈 Yang. I immigrated to Toronto when I was 5 with my family. We're originally from Nanjing, China. I'm in this band called Tiger Bomb. We're a band of soft moshing kanji queens. 4 out of the 5 of us are East Asian. We do play music that's kind of like indie rock sounding, and the vocals are quite soft and tender, and the content of the music is quite soft and tender. Soft moshing, kind of like swaying together as a group. Growing up, I was alone a lot, and I was a painfully shy child. Like so shy that if we were at a restaurant and someone would be like, "Oh, would you like to eat?" I couldn't even say anything. I think part of me was so scared of being discovered as this other person, like this person who didn't belong. But joke's on me because I just didn't belong anyways. But I'm always aware of the fact that I'm Chinese. I'm also very aware of the fact that a lot of times I don't pass as female, and I identify as queer and kind of non-binary these days. So the combination of ethnically different and gender different, I always know in a situation where I stand privilege-wise and where I stand power-wise, how people are looking at me. We were having like a snack time or like group lunch or something, and we had soup that day. And at home, at the end of the soup, when you have just a little bit left, to just bring the bowl to your mouth like this. And it was this like little white boy just looks at me and goes, "Hey, stop doing that. That's so rude." I remember being totally mortified, and I couldn't defend myself because I didn't know English. In myself, there was this inner turmoil of, okay, I can't be rude and drink the rest of it, but I have to drink every drop because that's what I grew up with in terms of food. Like, you have to eat and finish everything on your plate. I remember sitting there embarrassed, being probably the last kid to finish, like to no avail, like trying to scoop up every little bit of soup. In elementary school, so we used to do this thing where you'd like dismiss the other kids in your class for recess, so you learn their names. But I didn't even know English. I just had no idea not only what their names were, but like how to even say like, "Oh, James, you get to go to recess." And I remember that subconsciously, I kind of went, "Oh my gosh, I really have to learn the language of wherever I am." And not only the language, but the nuance of the language so that I can belong. So when I open my mouth, I feel like I have to kind of dispel whatever stereotypes they already might have in their mind. I was probably in 3rd grade, and that's when I became probably the most fixated on what I was eating for lunch. Something that my parents would pack me all the time was like rice balls. The seasoning mix was like a mix of like sesame seeds and seaweed and salt. And so it made the rice like a little green looking. And the way my mom would make it was she would like mix it all up and then spread it on a piece of saran wrap and then put like a little piece of meat or something in the middle and then roll it up into a rice ball. I remember, I think we were like all getting our like lunch boxes out of the cubbies. And I remember like unzipping it, taking out a rice ball, and I was like unwrapping it. And I remember one boy being like, "Ew, what are those?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a rice ball." And they're like, "Ew, it looks like Scottish boogers." The thing that I envied most was belonging to a community. And I remember, especially in middle school and like early high school, there were a lot of people who were like, "I want to change you." A lot of our music deals with straddling these different spheres of existence and the pieces of who we are and how those pieces have grown and developed over time. With any kind of multifaceted or dual identity like Asian Canadian, there's always an awareness of which intersections you're at and how you have to interact with all of those different parts of yourself and how society is interacting with all those different parts of yourself. One of my favorite memories as a kid is going grocery shopping with my parents on the weekends and going to the one Chinatown, and there was one like Chinese bakery, and going there and getting hot dog buns and bao. Also, if I got that in my lunchbox, like that was gonna be a good day. In this vision, dream, fantasy of me being able to talk to and communicate to my younger self, like I would honestly just sit down and like eat dumplings with my younger self. Not only did I need like verbal affirmation, but I needed mirroring in society. Like I needed to sit with, another kid who was also eating dumplings and having that comfort of knowing that we all come from different places and it's okay. So I don't think there's anything I could have really said to convince myself to feel comfortable, but knowing that the assurity that these feelings will pass. Even now, like, I think this lunchbox dilemma is a good metaphor for where we are as Asians in North America. I would be doing a disservice to my younger self if I told them you're gonna feel better, because some things you won't feel better. And the second big thing I would say is it's not your fault, and don't be so hard on yourself. Savory Asian snack foods, there's like no limit. There's like vacuum packed like tea eggs, like tofu jerky, prawn crackers, dried squid, like all that shit. I loved all that shit.